Of the Torrington City Council. We have some guests tonight. It's really good to see you here. Thank you for having an interest in what goes on with the city of Torrington. Again, thank you for coming. Before we start, I want to thank Ryan and Grant from KGOS and KERM from putting us on live audio at 99.9 FM and 1490 AM. Also on the YouTube channel at KGOS Sports. Also, we want to welcome back Logan Daly to Torrington Telegram. Thanks for covering us. Appreciate it. You glad to be back?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good enough. We'll call the meeting to order, and the first order of business will be Pledge of Allegiance, and Lynette volunteered to do that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, one nation, with liberty and justice for all. First off, I should have mentioned that Councilman Kinney is under the weather, and so he is excused tonight. All right, we'll move to the information items. It's definitely summer in Torrington, Wyoming. The past weekend was hot. Signs point to hotter temperatures ahead. Please be aware of the potential for thunderstorms at this time of the year. We are all acutely aware of the potential for flooding. The canal break above Lingle is a good example of what can happen when these late afternoon and evening storms roll through. Also, the fire danger will be significantly elevated for the remainder of the summer. Our volunteer fire department was involved in a very significant fire northwest of Torrington yesterday and several smaller fires. Goshen County Fire Warden Bill Law advises me that the fire ban is in place going forward as of today, July 5th, likely for the rest of the summer months. Obviously, your backyard grilling operations can continue without restriction, but please be mindful of the fact that even though July is the month with the most rainfall, it is also the hottest month, followed by August, which is the driest month. Potential for fire will be very high during these next 2 months. We hope that most of you had an enjoyable, safe, and relaxing 4th of July weekend. I know that the fireworks display at LaGrange Sunday evening at Fort Laramie on the 4th were well received and very enjoyable for those who attended. The celebration of our independence from Great Britain and the eventual formation of our republic is symbolic of the efforts made by these previous patriots and the sacrifice necessary for us to live as we do here today in Torrington, Wyoming. Please continue to be cautious as you drive the streets of Torrington. Be especially cautious in all those areas where children are likely to be playing. City of Torrington reminds everyone to put your phone down and avoid texting or talking on the phone while you're operating your vehicle. There are always lots of kids in the area of the pool and in our several parks and our sports fields. Please contact this pool and speak to a manager for more information or for some specific pool requests. COVID cases continue to be on the rise. Public Health reports that there have been 27 positive cases confirmed in the last 7 days leading up to the 4th of July holiday weekend. Fortunately, there were 0 hospitalizations as a result. Goshen County has just been elevated to the high-risk category. We're much better off than we were the last 3 years, but be aware it's still out there and the potential of catching COVID is increasing. We want to remind everyone that the Baylor site is open Saturdays from 7 to 3 through the summer to receive your yard waste. Again, please avoid placing garbage in the grass bins. There are grass bins at 4 locations throughout the city for your use. Summer sports are coming to a close within the next few weeks. Little League and regular seasons are complete. The Legion has but 1 home game remaining, and the summer softball leagues will likely begin soon. Remember that your pets are not welcome on City of Torrington sports fields during the non-contest times. There is a public dog park available throughout most of the day and evening for those of you who need to exercise your pets. Please keep this facility and all of our parks in great condition by remembering to pick up your waste and depositing it in the provided receptacles. Elk Eco Cycle is taking cardboard, separated paper products, and aluminum cans at their Curtis Avenue location. They are open to receive your recyclables from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock Monday through Wednesday. Please take advantage of this opportunity to recycle what you can and do the best for the environment. I again want to remind everyone that the Water Department will be continuing to contact area residents in their search for lead and copper service connections. You will likely, if you haven't already, receive a phone call or a knock on the door from a water department tech person where a 5-minute conversation will provide them with the needed information. If you have questions, please call Tom Troxel at the Water Department, 532-2012. Please be reminded that the third installment of the Downtown Concert Series, Music on Main, will take place from 6 to 9 p.m. at the restroom parking lot downtown the evening of Wednesday, July 13th. The last item tonight is to remind everyone that the Torrington community will be celebrating Community Night Out at Jordan Park on the evening of August 2nd. The City Council, the Police Department, the Fire Department, and many other public and private entities will be participating. The City Council will hold their August meeting in the shelter at 7 and conduct our business as usual. There will be hamburgers and hot dogs for everyone and lots of activities to allow people of our community to get together, have some fun, and support our community. Okay, we'll move on from there. The next item is to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the June 21st, 2022 council meetings minutes as published.
Move to.
Councilman Kelly, I have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next item is to approve the agenda. No changes or additions or corrections.
I'd move to approve the agenda as presented.
Councilwoman Steinbach, thank you. We have a motion on approve on first. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed? We have approved the agenda. Nothing in public forum. We'll move ahead to action items. First action item, special event permit. Dennis Estes with the Torrington Volunteer Fire Department is requesting a special event permit for the 2022 Goshen County Fair Parade to be held on August 4th, 2022 from 8 to 12 p.m. on Main Street. Mr. Estes.
Comment. Any questions?
Okay. I can't imagine it's going to be any different than what we've done in the past. And you're requesting to waive the fee, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions, Mr. Estes, before we go ahead with this? I don't hear anything, so, go ahead.
I would move to approve the permit and waive the fee.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Patterson made a motion to approve the permit and to waive the fee. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Kelly, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have approved the special event permit for the parade. Item number 2, an ordinance on third reading relating to surface water drainage. Attorney Eddington.
It's an ordinance creating and enacting Chapter 13.18 of the Torrington Municipal Code, 2022 revisions relating to surface water drainage.
Yeah, and we've talked about this as being stormwater utility. Sometimes that's a different way of stating the same thing. This is the third reading. We've had 2 previous readings. No changes, no corrections, no comments.
No comments
Okay.
that I'm aware of. What this allows us to do is to get it on the ballot for funding purposes.
Okay, all right, good enough. Okay, council.
So when we if we pass it and it goes to is it going to go on the ballot in November?
Correct.
I would move to approve this on third reading.
Councilwoman Steinbach, thank you. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance on third reading relating to surface water drainage. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have unanimously approved that ordinance. Item number 3, amendment number 11 to the agreement for professional services with Ingberg Miller Engineers. The staff recommends approval of amendment number 11 to the original agreement dated August 21st, 2013 for the purpose of providing well monitoring, testing, and state reporting to Wyoming DEQ for the landfill. Director of Public Works Harkins.
Yeah, this is just the annual maintenance and monitoring, well monitoring that we have to perform and report to the state. Inberg Miller's been doing that for a number of years now. In addition to that, it's going to be for a final report for the closure of cell 13 and for the Baylor permit renewal that's currently in process.
None of these numbers or any of these things are surprises. We knew they were coming. It's an annual thing.
Yes.
Okay.
And this was included in the budget that was just passed, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Is
None, I
the,
entertain a motion.
I,
Go ahead,
I do
Kate.
have one question, sorry. Is the Baylor permit, is that yearly, or is that for the,
It used to be, I think, biannually, but now it's going to be a lifetime permit.
okay. I
So
thought that's what we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
going to be the last time.
Okay,
On the back.
sorry.
Although we will have to probably do some annual reporting.
Sure,
So
sure. Okay.
Now, is cell 13 closed then, or is it still in the process?
it's still in the process, but all the work's done. It's kind of waiting on final inspection from DEQ.
Okay.
Okay, we're ready for a motion, council.
I would move to approve this amendment.
Thank you. Councilman Patterson, is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Steinbach, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve Amendment 11 to the agreement for professional services with Ingberg Miller Engineers. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have approved the motion. Amendment 11 will move along. Item number 4, ordinance on first reading, Attorney Eddington.
An ordinance repealing sections 9.24.010 and 9.24.040 of the Torrington Municipal Code 2022 revisions relating to carrying of concealed weapon and switchblade knife.
Okay, I think we need probably some explanation from either Chief or Jim.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'll talk about the switchblade issue first. This is something that was kind of a hot topic in the 60s and 70s. Spring-loaded knives were widely associated with biker gangs and dangerous characters of all sorts. And there was some belief out there that a spring-loaded knife was directly correlated with crime. That has really not proven to be the case over more recent time periods. Modern knife technology now, probably half of the folks that are walking around town that work in the agriculture industry or in the trades have some sort of a spring-assisted knife on their person that would technically be illegal under this ordinance. It's not a public safety issue for our community. We don't have issues with knife crime widely spread, and I guess our take on it is that if it's not something we need from a public safety standpoint and we don't plan to enforce it, it's better to get it off the books. So that's our proposition on that. The second was related to concealed carry. Again, not a safety concern for our community. Our ordinance relates to a concealed carry permit issued by the sheriff, which is certainly appropriate. However, our state statute effectively grants a concealed carry permit to any person who's law-abiding and has been a resident of Wyoming for 6 months or more. So it seems counterintuitive to try to I guess counter-mandate, if you will, related to state statute on something that just isn't a public safety issue for us. There's also a recent court decision by the Supreme Court that would call into question ordinances of this type. And we feel like it's not something we need to keep our community safe, and it's something that could impact law-abiding folks in the community, so we prefer to have that removed from the books as well.
So it's irrelevant as it stands. We might as well get rid of it.
That would be our impression, yes.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for either Chief or Attorney Eddington?
Do we have an ordinance governing open carry too?
We don't have an ordinance governing open carry, no, sir. Just concealed.
But it is legal for open carry, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Okay.
Other than in federal buildings, banks and what have you, they get a little excited when you open carry into those courthouses, any federal building, there's no open carry.
That's correct, thank you.
Yeah, you don't see them very often around town, but I have seen a couple open carries.
We used to have a customer in city court that would open carry, and we would have him remove it when he came into court. Right on his hip, 6-shooter, cowboy hat, cowboy boots, the whole get up.
I don't believe you can carry openly in the legislature either.
Correct. Any governmental type building, any bank, those types of things, they'll have you removed. But just to add to that, I think since 1990, I've never prosecuted a concealed weapon case. I think I prosecuted one switchblade case, and I think it was exactly that. It was a biker situation downtown, and in fact, I think it was over the 4th of July, and he got a little rowdy, and they got him for public intox, and he had a switchblade on him, and we prosecuted him on that. But that's one time in 32 years.
Okay.
All right?
Further questions?
Would move to pass this on the first reading.
Thank you, Councilman Patterson. We have a motion to approve the ordinance. Is there a second?
Go ahead.
Councilman Kelly, I got you first. A motion and a second to approve the ordinance on first reading relating to the carrying of concealed weapons and switchblade knives. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We have approved that on first reading. Item number 7. An ordinance on first reading relating to penalties in jail. Attorney Eddington.
An ordinance amending and reenacting sections 9.02.010 and 9.02.011 of the Torrington Municipal Code 2022 revisions relating to penalties in jail. We've just added a few more with working with the chief, and I'll let him explain what we've added and why, and the following ordinances will help explain that also.
So we've been working with Mr. Eddington in the municipal court related to the different cases that we run through municipal court. And we've tried to come to consensus on common sense charges that would make sense to be eligible for jailable offenses. Essentially, that provides us with some flexibility on where we pursue those charges. And particularly if we start something in municipal court, we're able to carry it out and finish it there. The charges that we looked at were obstructing a peace officer, trespassing, second offense of compulsory insurance. So if you get pulled over a second time without having car insurance, that could be a jailable offense. And then the drug charges that we're going to talk about in just a moment.
I guess I'm surprised that those people weren't jailable offenses already.
It has to be a misdemeanor crime committed in our presence.
Okay.
But if that's the case,
I
or
see.
if there's an articulation of a public safety or evidentiary destruction.
Okay.
Could I ask the chief a question?
Sure.
Just to clarify for the record, we're not creating new offenses. We're just giving options so they can be handled.
Defining how those can be handled.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
I'd move to approve this ordinance on first reading.
Councilwoman Steinbach, thank you. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
A second.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance on first reading relating to penalties in jail. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are unanimously in favor. Brings us to item number 6, ordinance on first reading relating to possession of a controlled substance. Attorney Eddington.
An ordinance amending and reenacting section 9.36.060 of the Torrington Municipal Code 2022 revisions relating to possession of a controlled substance.
Mayor and council, this essentially adds in all misdemeanor drug charges to municipal code. Couple of reasons for this. The first one relates to paraphernalia. So a common occurrence for our officers is if they find someone who's in possession of a small amount of controlled substance, they're also in possession of paraphernalia that they use to consume that controlled substance. Oddly enough, that's not illegal under state statute. So if you possess a meth pipe, which there's no other feasible use for other than consuming meth with, that's not currently a chargeable offense under state statute. It is a chargeable offense under municipal court. Frequently, we find that the folks that are struggling with addiction need some support and some accountability to try to get out from underneath that. And we have found that we're frequently stuck between choosing a very low-level drug offense and giving up on the misdemeanor paraphernalia offense, or vice versa. We can't do both at one time. And so we believe that by moving both of those underneath the municipal ordinance, we have some additional opportunities there to try to address that behavior more effectively. We're also, for both the previous issue that we discussed and for the drug offense, we're really trying to work towards a municipal court concept related to mental health court and drug court. There's a lot of research across the country that shows that that support at a municipal level is very effective for intervening for folks that are struggling with those issues prior to them escalating. We have a really solid relationship with Volunteers of America, who provides our community mental health services, and we believe that we can continue to build on that and come up with a partnership between our municipal court, our municipal prosecutor, the police department, and Volunteers of America that will help folks to have the resources and accountability they need to change behaviors that are really bad for them and really bad for our community. So that's where we're headed with it.
Sounds like something that's been needed for quite a while.
We think it's important.
Yeah, very good. Counsel?
Just say, as someone who's worked in this area for a long time, I very much support that idea of treatment in addition to the legal consequences, because as has been said repeatedly, we can't arrest our way out of this problem. I mean, it's bigger than that, so it's good to see that movement, I think, so support that.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, council, we're ready for a motion.
I would move to approve on first reading.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. Is there a second?
A second?
Councilman Steinbach, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance on first reading relating to possession of a controlled substance. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have unanimously approved item number 6. Item number 7, ordinance on first reading relating to annexing the AB Estates addition. Director of Public Works Harkins, City Attorney Eddington.
An ordinance annexing within the corporate limits of the city of Torrington, Wyoming, real property to be known as the AB Estates addition.
Mr. Harkins.
Yeah, what this is the southeast corner of the airport. There were 3 parcels that were deeded to the city. So the city actually owns these parcels. If you look at the map, which is this one, you'll see the northern part of Lot 12 and Lot 10. There's some small sections and then a large section that was deeded by Henry Miller. And all of this is currently unannexed, and we're just trying to clean that up and get it annexed into the city.
City property, we just didn't bother to annex it.
For whatever reason, yes.
Okay, all right.
You're
Needs to be done.
referencing the blackout part, right?
Yes, the black part. It's right at the end of the runway.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Harkins? If not, I'd entertain a motion on the annexing AB Estates addition.
So move.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. Is there a second?
A second?
Councilwoman Steinbach, thank you. We have a motion and a second for the ordinance on first reading relating to annexing the AB Estates addition. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have passed that on first reading. Item number 8, ordinance on first reading annexing the Hill Irrigation Addition. Mr. Eddington.
An ordinance annexing within the corporate limits of the city of Torrington, Wyoming, real property to be known as the Hill Irrigation Addition.
That's the one with the square, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So the Hill irrigation addition was actually, I think, parcel number 1 of the airport. And it was annexed in part, but not the whole thing. And I couldn't understand that. But anyway, the ordinance back decades ago did not include this square portion, which is the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 11. So we're cleaning that up too.
Okay.
So, go ahead. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
So with this, will it, is there more, or
This is it for the airport.
this is it for the
This is-
airport? Okay.
Airport will be completely
Okay.
done, annexed.
So this looks like a square right in the center of the airport that's
Yeah,
not annexed, under the runways.
yeah.
Okay.
Further questions? Okay, I entertain a motion.
Move to approve this ordinance?
Councilman
On first reading.
Steinbach, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Kelly?
Second?
Okay, Councilman Kelly, thank you. Have a motion and a second to approve item 8, ordinance on first reading annexing the Hill Irrigation Addition. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have passed that on first reading. Item number 9, ordinance on first reading relating to holidays. Attorney Eddington.
An ordinance amending section 1.08.010 of the Torrington Municipal Code 2022 revisions relating to holidays.
Okay, Clerk Treasurer Stricker.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is just the final process of adding the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday to our city ordinances. We already adopted it in city policy, so,
Just cleaning it up,
right.
okay? Council, do you have any questions? Okay, let's move on to motion.
Move to approve as presented.
Councilman Kelly, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. We have a motion, excuse me, and a second to approve the ordinance on first reading relating to holidays. Is there further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We have unanimously approved the ordinance on holidays. Item number 10, annual write-off of accounts. Clerk Treasurer Stricker and Deputy Clerk Anaya.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Every year, we present to you accounts that we're unable to collect on. Either they're past their 10-year statute of limitation, or they're deceased and unable to collect from the estate. So we have 2 lists. The first one is accounts receivable write-offs for $875. And then the second list is from utility accounts, and that total is $8,719.72. So the total write-off for the year would be $9,594.72. And I just ask for your approval to write these off and move on.
It's too bad we can't ever recover those, but there's really, costs us far more to recover them than it would be.
They're all out of state as far as we know, and once the statute of limitations passes 10 years on a contract, it's considered a contract when they sign a work order. You can't recover your barred, And so the collection agencies had no luck. Anything we do interstate, we usually turn over, because if we get a judgment out of state, we can't collect from Wyoming. We have to hire someone out of state to collect, and that's why all out of state are turned over to collections. Anything in-state we can pursue, and we usually do it in small claims court right here in town.
Okay. Is this amount, 9,000 so many dollars, is that similar to year?
I think it's less than last year.
Yeah.
Pardon?
It's less than last year.
Oh, well, good. Something that government entities, and I'm sure large businesses, have to do every year. I know EWC deals with that. Okay, it's too bad, but there we have it. Council, need a motion.
I'd move to approve the write-off.
Councilman Steinbach, thank you. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the annual write-offs of accounts. Is there further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have approved the annual write-off of accounts. Item number 11 is to approve the bills from 6/22/22 to July 5/22. Clerk Treasurer Strecker.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Attached to your agenda were a list of bills, and another set was handed out tonight. We are getting in bills by the bushel full right now, so.
Do you have any questions from the council?
No, I have not.
Okay.
On page 3, the first set for Steve Halburn for carpet cleaning, is that just routine cleaning, or?
Yeah, we try to do that once a year here in our area, in the Lincoln Community Complex. I think it's been like a year and a half, though, so.
And the one on page 4 for J-Build Homes for curb and gutter and miscellaneous pavement repairs, that just stuff here and there around town?
Yeah, there's several areas that were identified around town. We went out for bids, and they won the bid, and so that's for all those areas for fiscal year '22.
I asked Streets and Sanitation Supervisor this morning, Ed Hawley, about this bill, and he explained that it works out a whole lot better this way if they bid it and wipe them out, take care of them all at once. Any other questions, council?
Move to approve payment of the bills.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. Thank you. We have a motion to approve the bills. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Steinbach, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the bills as presented. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have approved the bills. Item number 12 is public comment. At this time, the council will welcome people to come to the podium who have questions, comments, concerns, things that they'd like to ask the council, things they'd like to tell the council, whatever. If you are a person like that who would like to speak to council, address the council, please come to the podium. We'll give you a couple of minutes and we'll try to respond to whatever you have to say. Is there anyone here who would like to address the council? Lancer, you got anything you want to say? No? It's up to you. You might address the fire ban and so on, all that stuff, the big fire.
Mayor and council, how are we doing?
Good, good.
So I believe today, this morning, the fire ban went into effect for the county. Got us through some of the municipalities being able to do their fireworks show. So I believe that went into effect today. Yesterday, we had 7 calls, I believe, with the big one out on Sheep Creek. So we had hell attack from Casper, with use of the helicopter, BLM, because it was on BLM property actually. So they came over to double check it. They ended up leaving today at about 4 o'clock, so.
Fire's out.
I think everything's good up there unless something really weird happens, so.
Okay.
We did have some members that went to Lingle on Friday as well and helped out with that situation. So we had some kind of in the overhead role, and then we had some that were out helping with sandbags and do that kind of stuff, so. Been busy lately, not a lot within the city, but, you know, helping the neighbors out and everything like that, so.
Based on what you can see, what's the outlook for the rest of the summer?
Hot and dry. Yesterday, the cheatgrass is about knee-high, and it burns fast. So it's kind of the reason we had to have the helicopter come over, and we actually had two, they call them seats, which are single-engine air tankers. And I think they can drop like 350 gallons. And so we actually had 2 drops from 2 of them yesterday out of Casper. So just to help us out. And the way that works out, the fire suppression fund and some of our mutual aid agreements, we can get that for the first 24 hours for free. So that didn't cost us anything to have the heli-tac or the air resources. So,
Very good.
kind of a nice deal, and they haven't been very busy, so they were happy to come over and get to do something, so.
Good
You
enough.
You got any members of the department doing the wildland this year?
Yeah, there's 3 of us. Actually, we have a truck listed to be able to go somewhere, but there's not much going on right now. It was early, and it'll probably be late when some of us have to go back to work, so. There's 3 of us ready to go.
Who took the picture of the dance the other day at the bucket truck?
I believe it was Michael Schuler went up there, so. It's kind of a neat picture, we thought, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, different perspective.
Yes, very much so.
Before you leave, I want to compliment the people who are working for the city of Torrington, who are also working in the fire department, yourself as chief, Dennis, been there a long time, Mike Lira, Mike Schuler, who else, Dennis? Who am I forgetting?
Albert.
Oh,
Lira,
Luis Correa,
Luis.
Albert Lira.
And I think that's it, isn't it? Dennis?
Well, anyway, we really appreciate your sacrifice, and
So,
thanks for keeping us safe.
you're welcome. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Any other people who would like to speak? See no one rise to the occasion, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Councilman Patterson, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Steinbach, thank you. We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.